Brenda Shad moves between acting and fashion. Descended from the Choctaw and Cherokee, she brings her heritage to center stage. As a model, she had standout moments and opened doors. Off stage, she created the Native American Children's Fund in Oklahoma, strengthening projects and community ties. The jingle dress dance emerged among the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe in the early 20th century. Over time, it left local communities and gained a presence at festivals and native gatherings, reaching greater visibility in the 1920s. The movement spread mainly through Wisconsin and Minnesota in the Great Lakes region. Before we go on, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. That way YouTube knows this content matters and shows it to more people. Elsie Vance, born in 1873, was given the name Chestuan at birth, marking her connection to her indigenous roots. Daughter of Dilth Clay E., she carried the Apache leadership line. Her mother descended from Biduya, the chief remembered as Victorio, also called Bedouillat, a central figure in her people's story. In 1882, in what was then Indian Territory, Wanada Parker Page was born. At birth, she received the Comanche name Woonardi Parker. Rise up and show strength. More than a record, it was a calling. Throughout her life, that meaning followed her as a guide through the trials fate would bring, and so her journey is announced. In 1906, Cow-Utes of the Caddo Nation came from a people whose historic territory reached Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. Among rivers and plains, the Caddo made agriculture their backbone. It provided sustenance, trade, and rituals. Because of that, they also cultivated caution in contact with outsiders, preserving ways and memory. The Miami, a native people of North America, belong to the Algonquian language family and are connected to the societies that lived in the Great Lakes region. Throughout history, they formed villages, trade networks, and alliances, and continuously occupied large areas that correspond to today's state of Indiana. In C.S. Fly's photo, you see a group lined up from left to right: Martin, Chapo, Geronimo's son, Fun, and Geronimo himself. The spotlight falls on Fun, a veteran of decisive battles. His path crosses territories on both sides of the border and echoes in the fate of the others. In 1901, Lee Morehouse photographed Chief Joseph, a leader of the Nez Perce in Oregon. The image, part of his effort to document native life in the early 20th century, highlights the chief's presence and authority, revealing in a single frame the strength of his position in the community. The image echoes memory and respect. In 1948, a photograph from the Pendleton Roundup captures a moment that blends celebration and memory. The rodeo takes over the street. Up front, native princesses advance in a parade carrying colors, symbols, and stories. Each step affirms the bond with their communities and keeps alive a legacy that spans generations. Ella Cara Deloria, 1889-1971, left a lasting mark on research and literature. Known in Sioux as Angpatu Wastewing, Good Day Woman, she was of Yankton Sioux origin. She worked with rare breadth, educator, anthropologist, ethnographer, linguist, and novelist, connecting academic knowledge to the voices of her people. Nietzsche, born in 1956, was the youngest son of the Apache leader Cochise. His mother, Dos Tese, daughter of Mangus Coloradus, gave him a prestigious lineage. In his youth, he took part in raids against Euro-American settlers, a reflection of the tensions and disputes of that period. American Horse, an Oglala Lakota leader, was the youngest to carry that name among his peers. He gained prominence in records for his connection to the Carlisle Indian Industrial School. Born in 1840 in the Black Hills of South Dakota, he grew up in a territory central to Lakota spiritual and cultural life. Before we go on, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. That way, YouTube knows this content matters and shows it to more people. Originating in the Great Basin between southeastern Oregon and southern Idaho, the Bannock made that landscape their ancestral territory. Over generations, they adapted to waters, deserts, and mountains, using local resources to shape their culture and way of life. That relationship guided movements, exchanges, and rituals, keeping their collective memory alive. In 1967, at Brigham Young University, the Tribe of Many Feathers Club launched the first Native Beauty Pageant. The initiative, aimed at celebrating Native culture on campus, drew immediate attention and became a main attraction of BYU's newly created Cultural Diversity Week on the student calendar. In 1916, Iron Tail, an Oglala leader and a key figure among the Lakota Sioux, was captured in a photograph that stood the test of time. The image, a landmark for his nation, offers a rare look at his features and posture, revealing traits that help explain his strength and the place he held. In it, past and presence meet. In Cheyenne tradition, two objects held the sacred together: the four branches of life, ahiu, and the buffalo spirit robe, nakutsai. They weren't emblems, they carried spiritual power. The branches expressed the order of life. The robe, the authority and wisdom held in the feminine, the foundation of the community. The Quatsan, also called Quechan or Yuma, present themselves as those who descend. They keep a living heritage tied to the Fort Yuma Indian Reservation, which stretches between Arizona and California. Their land follows the lower Colorado River near the Mexican border. They maintain ties and practices that span generations. The Comancheria, the Comanches' territory, sustained their nomadism. Each stop was carefully chosen: easy access, protection, natural shelter, nearby food sources, and good pasture for the horses. That way, the group kept the route alive, balancing need and safety at each camp. At the turn of the 20th century, photographer N.A. Forsyth captured members of the Flathead tribe about to dance in Montana. The scene, dense with history, opens a window to the past. Detailed clothing and preparation rites appear clearly, signs of the cultural continuity that sustains their ceremonies. A record that connects memory and presence. In March 1905, at Theodore Roosevelt's inauguration, a gesture took center stage and gave new weight to Native presence in public life. 6 tribal leaders, recognized by their communities, crossed Pennsylvania Avenue to the heart of Washington, opening the ceremony with dignity and historic meaning. Before we go on, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. That way, YouTube knows this content matters and shows it to more people. In 1908, Edward Curtis captured in one image the life of the Apsaroki people, known as the Crow. In the frame, a mother cradles her baby. After years pursuing the cultures of North America's native peoples, Curtis found there a simple gesture that says it all: the bond that sustains childhood and keeps the community united. In 1888, Frank A. Randall recorded the portrait of an Apache woman in the region that today covers New Mexico and Arizona. The scene, simple and direct, reveals traces of daily life, posture, adornments, and clothing that marked the time. Looking at her, we see a living chapter of this people's history and ways. Black Eagle, a leader of the Crow community in the early 20th century, embodied respect for tradition. His firm posture and calm gaze made an impression. The clothes, with detailed designs and vivid colors, weren't just decoration. They announced his position and told in every detail the people's story, a legacy that guided decisions and rights. Pass on to the next generations what we passed on to ours. The planet gives us life and sustenance. Every action on Earth ripples through everything. If we neglect the environment, we harm our future. In the image, Mato Wanarsaka teaches his son the art of the bow in 1899. Sharing this knowledge reminds us, caring for our common home is caring for ourselves. In the early 20th century, in remote lands, a Washoe woman walks beside a child. Her presence combines strength and calm. The clothing, simple and practical, bears the marks of rituals and daily work. Between them, care is expressed in silent gestures, a bond that crosses eras and withstands change. In 1919, in the Manitou Cliff Dwellings in Colorado, the Tewa Nation celebrated a wedding there. A couple joined according to inherited rituals, a gesture that affirmed memory and belonging. The place, guardian of a long Tewa history, became the stage for a commitment that linked past, present, and future. The Yamparica Comanches, with a diet based on roots, lived along the Arkansas River. The richness of their surroundings guided their culture. First, they settled north of the headwaters. Over time, they moved to eastern Colorado and western Kansas, adjusting routes and ways of life to the resources in each area available. We've reached the end of our video. Subscribe to our channel and leave a comment if you like the content. See you next time.